You do that, well-spoken way, you go to the city council, you'll have members in a small town or even a big city, they will pass a resolution. If you start beating the drum, they will go to the state house. Your state will say no. The congressman federally will get the word and won't do this. I mean, there's just a small example of how we beat their agenda. The power of some Hollywood star making 1 million copies of my film and handing it out is smaller than 10,000 listeners making 200 copies apiece. Nothing can trump the grassroots. You want to beat the New World Order? This film exposes the agenda. It's Fall of the Republic. I'm going to not go to calls right now, or we'll never get to all the other news we have. But if I have time, I'll get to Bob and John and Scott and Jim at the end of the broadcast today. Jesse Ventura is on at noon tomorrow with an exclusive look into the 7 episodes of Conspiracy Theory. And the reason this is important is that, and Jesse's for real, Jesse believes this. I was watching a local newscast out of Minnesota where it says Ventura will argue with somebody for an hour at the grocery store or on the street, convincing them that 9/11 was an inside job. That's how he is in person. He really is finding out about this, doing his research, and I don't know how he got this on air. I don't know how he is getting a fair show on TV. But I'm holding my breath here. We're going to see what happens coming up in just a few weeks. On December 2nd is when it starts airing. Let's go ahead and play a little clip from the TV show where he goes to the gates of HARP in Alaska. I had the head of HARP on, and they have these Army and Air Force officers kept cracking in before I went live to the head scientist, who's not military, saying, if you say anything we don't like, we're going to disconnect the conversation. And then during the breaks, they would pop back in and go, everything's going fine, thank you, yes. But then the head of HARP started talking about how they can turn the array on and ignite the atmosphere, make the sky catch on fire. And they suddenly cut his phone off for a minute, and then he came back and wouldn't talk about it. Ventura pulls up. They won't talk to him. They won't give him an interview. I don't know why they gave me an interview. They said, we know who you are. We want to come on your show. Because I've been talking about weather weapons and HARP, and we were contacted by HARP. And then I was invited up there. They do not want Ventura in there. Why was I invited? And I didn't have, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go up to Alaska. And then, again, I've got too much going on here. Ventura went, and they wouldn't let him in. So here is Jesse Ventura.
You really need to go through the Air Force.
Well, we did. We got stonewalled. Yeah. And this is strictly a research facility. Clearly, there's something going on here that they don't want people to know about.
There's a lot of cool science that we do with this facility.
Come on, man. I'm a Navy SEAL. The military don't do things unless it has a military purpose, and a military purpose is destruction and waging war.
It's a stalemate. Or is it?
Back up a little bit from the gates so when people come through, they won't feel intimidated.
When I get denied something, I do the opposite of getting intimidated. I get angry.
Jesse is about to walk right on through when suddenly...
Hold on a second, guys. I got a problem.
RF interference.
The camera equipment begins to go haywire. Something is interfering with the audio and video.
This is more than unclassified. That's bullshit.
And they cut that there at the end. That really happened to them. Their cameras all started going dead. And it's hard with digital cameras that are recording on hard drives to do that. They were getting beamed. And that's what they test up there is particle beam weapons, microwave weapons. I had the director of HARP on, and he was bragging how they can turn it on at night and ignite the sky. They can create artificial aurora borealis. And I've got the Secretary of Defense, April 28th, 1997, Army Times, Secretary of Defense Cohen, admitting they have earthquake weapons and seismic weapons and weather weapons. He admitted it. Army Times, 1997, April 27th or 28th. In fact, pull that up. Secretary of Defense admits weather weapons, Army Times. I want folks to actually see this for themselves. I mean, that's what's incredible is that the guy that wrote Eco-Science, the White House science czar, now admits they're chemtrailing us and involved in a global geoengineering or terraforming, changing the Earth's atmosphere. And they say it's to stop global warming. After all these decades of denying it, they now admit they're doing it. There's a lot of things going on that the general public isn't aware of. A lot of things. And coming out in 3 days, they've got 2012 coming out. In fact, I've meant to call. I've got his number, but he's gone most of the time from California. I can call. I think I got his number in Hawaii, too. I was given it again and never even gave it to you to put it in the system. So we've got to dig around for Woody Harrelson's contacts. Go after Woody Harrelson. Because every time we've called 2 or 3 times, they're like, oh, yeah, he's back in a month. He'd love to do your show, and then we never call back. We got to stay on him, stay on him, stay on him, stay on him. I want Woody Harrelson.